Welcome, everyone, to the Nerdbilly Podcast, Episode 1. I'm one of your co-hosts, Ed, Senior Wapo Webb, and joining me today is the other co-host, the author, Philip Dreyer Duncan. How's it going, Philip?
Hello, Ed. What
Howdy.
what did you just introduce yourself as?
Senior Wapo.
All right, well, I'll ask more about that later.
Yeah.
First podcast.
We are here in separate states, same time zones, but we are here.
And
And,
we're doing this podcast live for us. It's live for us.
oh yeah, I'm looking
2
right at
o'clock
a
in the
picture
morning.
of you. 2:13. All right. Well, I guess we should talk a little bit about what we have planned for this podcast, what we want to achieve, and what we want our listeners to know right out of the gate, what to expect. So if you can imagine the word nerdbilly, means one of us is a hillbilly and two of us are nerds. And as nerds, we like
You're
nerd
the
things.
hillbilly, right?
You think? Well, I guess so. I don't live in the hills. Do you live in
I'm
the hills?
sophisticated.
Sophisticated?
I'm sophisticated.
Edumacated.
I'm sophisticated and I have a lot of fancy things.
Nice.
But yes, I do live in the hills.
So, of course, I'm the hillbilly. Uh, we're going to talk about nerd shit, the usual stuff, and things of nerdy manners. Expect a lot of Star Wars, expect a lot of video game stuff, and expect other things that are
Well, we have to talk
things.
about books, naturally.
Books.
Yeah.
Reading.
Yeah.
Speaking of books, I got my confirmation that Amazon shipped Assassins Incorporated.
That's awesome.
Should be here by the 18th, it said.
Listeners, in case you don't know, I wrote that book, and it's awesome.
Yeah. Sounds awesome. It had hailing praise from non-associated websites, so I figured it was a good deal. Might as well buy it.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
why not?
Well, why
Pretty fun
would I
one.
not?
That's my latest novel. It's pretty fun.
Heck yeah, I'm gonna sit down and just binge on it one weekend when I
Yeah,
get
it's
it.
not super long. You probably be able to tear through it pretty quick.
I wouldn't go that far. I'm kind of dumb. I can't read very well.
Well, I mean, you can read pretty well. I mean, you are dumb, but you can read fairly well.
Well, I'm glad we can agree on one thing.
So, so just for the record, Ed and I have been friends for how long did we just say the other day? Like 15 years, 16, 17? I don't know. Since we were kids, we've been friends.
Oh yeah, eighth grade. So in the eighth grade, I believe I was 12? Yeah,
Yeah,
12.
sure. That sounds about right. How old are
13.
you now? I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's been a long time. I had a point
27.
where I was going with that, but I don't remember it now.
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
I'm 27. Before you interrupt, I'm 27 as you asked. I'll be 28 coming up soon. What about you? How old's your ass?
same, because I'm pretty sure our birthdays are pretty close, aren't they?
You're in October, aren't you?
Yeah.
86er?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a September 86er. September
That's what I was
29th.
thinking.
Hmm.
So the last time we talked, I had a funny story I was going to tell you, but then I was
Oh,
like, we're getting ready to do a podcast, so I'm going to save it. I'm going to make him wait an extra week.
awesome. I love
So,
funny stories. Let us hear it.
all right, so I don't know, this must have been a month ago now, probably, maybe even a little longer. So I went to Panda one day, and it was one of those deals where I was really hungry and I hadn't eaten, so I was kind of weak and like starting to get, grumpy Phil mode. So I probably had less fun with the situation than I normally would have. But anyways, I go in, I order my orange chicken and my oodles of Japanese noodles, whatever they are. I don't know what they're actually called. I just point and say, "Give me the noodles." And so there's not really like any other customers, but there's like one guy standing at the register who I'm assuming is paying for his stuff, but I could not have been more wrong. So I get up there, and this guy is very obviously drunk at,
Mm.
like 4:30 in the afternoon. Which, hey, I'm not gonna say anything. I've been drunk at 4:30 in the afternoon plenty of times myself, but I've never gone to Panda by myself and just stood there. So he's like talking to the poor little like teenage girl at the register, and she seems terrified. Like she has this look like, please don't, attack me kind of thing going on. And so this guy, he sees me walking up to the register to pay for my stuff, and he looks at me and he's like, well, 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 you never know who you're gonna run into. And I'm like, yeah, total stranger. I guess you never know when you're gonna run into a total stranger in a random public place. So he starts talking to the girl working the register again, and he's like obviously drunk, and I'm just kind of like, okay, this guy needs to hell out of the way because I want to pay for my food. And so he turns and looks at me again, and he starts babbling, and I don't understand any of it. Like I've never seen this guy before in my life. And he starts digging in his pocket. I'm like, what the hell is happening? Like, and he was causing enough of a disturbance that one of the other panda workers like came over and was like, "Can I help you?" And he's like, "Yeah, no, I'm trying to hook these guys up." And she was flabbergasted. She didn't even know what to say. She just stops. Like, oh. So the guy pulls out a business card, right? And it's a local guitar shop. And he hands me this business card, and I'm like, okay, thanks, man. And then he pulls out a completely separate business card for something completely different and hands it to the girl working the register. So
Nice.
immediately I'm like, okay, so these aren't like his cards, they're just cards he picked up somewhere. So right after he hands it to me and hands her hers, he turns and looks at me, he's like, oh wait, let me have that back. I went, okay. So I hand it back to him and he's like, I need a pen, I need a pen. And so they get him a pen and he proceeds to like not just sign the back of the freaking business card, but he like personalized it. Like I would personalize a book for somebody. He's like,
Nice.
to Phil. He's like, what's your name? Like, Phil. And he's like, to Phil, something or other, and he signs it. And he's like, hands it to me and like reiterates the yeah, you never know who you're gonna run into thing. No freaking clue. This was total stranger, total just random guy signed a business card for me for no reason.
So do you think he recognized you? Or maybe he was famous and had recognized you and assumed you would recognize his drunk ass? Or was he
I feel
obviously
like
not famous?
he was just a drunk guy that maybe somehow convinced himself that he was famous.
Nice. I've been there.
I think we all have.
I'm drunk. Want my autograph? I'm
The
fairly
best part is
charming.
you can't. I still have the business card, by the way. I wasn't gonna throw that away, that priceless treasure.
Oh
But
yeah. What's it say? Do you have it on hand?
I don't have it on hand. It's actually at my work, at my real job, at my desk.
Ah.
And yeah, but like I couldn't even tell what the name was, so I looked it up. Like I actually Googled it. Like I literally spent like an hour trying to figure out who the hell this guy was. He was no like there's he's any combination of what the name could have possibly been. I put in, brought back nothing.
At all. Nothing at all. So was he like
Nothing.
an angel or something?
He was a drunk angel, a drunk denim angel.
Denim. Was he like top to bottom Billy Ray Cyrus denim?
Pretty much. Uh, so,
Did you
anyways,
and
I
the little girl behind the counter compare cards? Like you're swapping
no,
Pokemon cards?
I grabbed my food and was like, I'm getting the hell out of here. I've had enough of this situation. I just want some friggin' orange chicken.
Mm. So how was the chicken?
It's always delicious.
Nice. Nice.
Right before we started the podcast, you told me a story that had me cracking up, and I would like for you to retell it now. Okay, so, but fair warning, the first part maybe not as funny, but it ends in humor.
Oh yeah, okay. I actually just blanked and had to figure out what you were talking about. My bad.
It was literally less than 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, it's kind of grim, but we're not going to tell it at the end of the podcast because you never want to go out on a dark note. But I live in Lexington, Purcell, Oklahoma, and There, a few years back, several years back, there was this tragedy that happened in an apartment complex, literally three houses down. There's three houses between me and the apartment complex, and then a small road, and then the apartment complex. And on the other side of the complex is this nursing home I used to work at when I was younger. So one day, this little girl goes missing, and everyone's out searching for her. The nursing home gets all its workers together, and we scour the neighborhoods searching. I don't know what for. Everyone and their mother knew someone in that apartment complex kidnapped her. Apparently, the guy upstairs or downstairs from her had befriended her, and after school one day, he took her into his house and killed her, dead.
Yeah, I said it didn't start happy. It's
Yeah,
not a
yeah,
happy story.
no,
Just stick with us, roll with it.
right. I'm not even sure what the funny part is anymore. Uh,
It involves your
so
brother.
Oh, yeah, that is funny. So anyway, he hacks her up, tries to at least. He has these books they find when they storm his place, and it's like Idiot's Guide to Cannibalism and Self-Taught Cannibal, things of that nature. He has a problem sawing through her bone, dismembering her, and draining her into his tub, so he just gives up. He was going to eat her. He had always wanted to eat a girl, is what he had said. So he wraps her up in a tarp and leaves her in the tub until she starts to stink. And that's when everyone realizes, hey, it smells like a dead fucking body upstairs, downstairs. So the cops raid the place, find her. He goes to jail, and he's been sitting in jail. You know how things drag on. You can sit in jail for years before you go to court, stuff like that. My brother gets arrested for something that he did. He's getting booked in, and he walks right by this guy's cell, and he's in one of those drunk tank cells where there's just no windows or anything. It's just one slot for a food tray, and it was open. So he looks in there and he sees the guy, and no matter how much of a hardened criminal you are, anyone who kills a little girl, you are not on anyone's good list. And my brother's a pretty hefty fella, has a pretty poor diet, walks right by and just rips a fat nasty right into the serving tray window of that door. So he said the look on his face was priceless when he realized what happened to him, because it was one of those good old SBDs. He said when he got to his cell, he had to wipe and he had to shit a little, so that's good.
So remind me at some point to buy your brother a Punisher T-shirt, because
Because he's
that
the
is
Punisher.
that is not justice, but that is punishment.
Yeah, he's like Ghost Rider.
Oh,
You'll have to wait
so
though. He's actually on a diet. He's lost about 100 and some odd pounds. Uh, he's looking
wow,
pretty good. Oh yeah, yeah, good stuff.
nice.
Indeed. A girlfriend and a good job can really do a lot for your self-esteem, make you want to get in shape. I know how that is. So
Well,
that's
I
my
don't. Next
hilarious
topic.
story.
Next
Next
topic.
next topic. What do you want to talk about? What's going
I
on
don't
in
know,
the
man.
author Philip world?
Actually, you know what? I do have some big news there. Actually,
What's
I
that?
have. The last time we talked, I don't think had I started the second Moonshine Wizard novel. I don't think
Uh,
I'd.
Last podcast we did, we had done a podcast previously, folks, that
It
was
was
general
practice run.
rumblings. Yeah. It was more like a getting back to know each other kind of thing. And
Yeah,
it had
this
its
which is
fun
actually on
moments.
my website, philipjerryduncan.com, if you want to see it
Indeed, it's also at
or hear it.
podcastdomain.weebly.com, but that'll be in the link dump. So you had not started yet, but within a few weeks you had sent a screen capture of your computer that you had written.
Wrote.
Uh,
I wrote
the,
lots of things real good, and
that's good because you speak nice.
I, I taught good with words.
Words and
So
sentences. Yes.
I guess for most people, like the excitement is either you've started writing the novel or you've finished writing the novel. So I don't have anything that exciting for most people, but for me, as the guy trying to scribble that crap together. And for anybody else who's written a novel, they could probably relate. My exciting news is that today, actually, I figured out what's going to happen. I mean, you kind of go into a novel with kind of like a general kind of broad idea of what's going to happen, but then, like today, it literally, I know pretty much every scene from beginning to get me to the end of the book. Like, I didn't really plot it out, but it just kind of worked itself out in my brain. So that's pretty big news for me.
Awesome.
Also, I'm 12,000 words into it.
Without spoiling too much, can you tell
Mhm.
us anything? Can you give us a teaser, or is it just like things happen, there's a beginning, the end?
So, well, you read the first one, right?
Yes, yes,
So,
I did.
so where do you think logically the story would be going at this point?
For a beer. After the first book, I'm sure the main character wanted a beer.
Okay, yeah, that's probably. But we're jumping. It's it is gonna go like I think 6 months probably down the road. So he's had a beer or two since then.
Nice,
So
nice.
what would you think that Mr. Drake and his friends would be up to at this point?
Well, probably working, adjusting to lives as spoiler, paranormal creatures and seeing things they had never thought they would see, for some of them at least.
Yeah, but don't forget, important
Let's
thing
see.
is that they got tried and got in trouble with the hand of magic, but they got
Ah,
off. So there's got to be some hard feelings there.
all right. So why don't
So,
we cut the games and you just let us know?
so I think the natural progression that people would expect at this point would be that he is on the trail of trying to figure out what the hell happened to Lilith.
Yeah, I
Yes.
could see that.
Well, that is not what's going to happen. There was another big mystery in the story, kind of an overarching mystery that didn't really get dealt with in the first one,
Yeah,
and it's pretty much going to come right to smack you in the face, pretty much right out the gate. Yeah, within the first chapter, a mystery that was kind of a thing in the first one that didn't really get dealt with is going to come front and center.
hell
That's
yeah.
pretty much all I'm going to tell you.
Well, that's plenty. Are you going to shoot a commercial for it?
That's not a bad idea. I thought about doing that before.
Yeah.
We even talked with people about doing that before. I just never have. Do you want to shoot a commercial, Ed? Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, it is my dream to be a filmmaker, but
Is
I
it?
can't write. Yeah, oh yeah, but I can't write worth shit. Like I can't. I'm not a funny writer, and I'm not a guy who can sit down and
You're not a
brainstorm things.
you're not a bad writer though. I read your story. You had the website for a little while.
Oh yeah, yeah, that was a horrible, horrible thing that I tried to do, and when I reread them and actually thought about what I was writing, I realized, man, I should have never done any of this. The first one was pretty good. That's what it got me going. It was like, oh man, this one's pretty cool. I like this, so I could write more. But then it's like, oh well, my well of ideas is just sort of shallow. So I'm not pretentious enough to pretend that I can do anything a writer could do. Therefore, all I could really do is the technical stuff. Like I have a decent-ish camera, and I understand lighting, I understand angles, I understand audio, things like that. And I can do things on a very shoestring budget. This entire setup in this office, I spent less than $5 on it, and most of that was super glue.
Wow,
Oh yeah,
that's
even
impressive.
mm-hmm. But other than that,
So
no, I can't do anything. I do have an idea for a video though. I should probably let you keep talking though, because I cut you
no,
off
go
and went
ahead.
on a tangent. Okay, well, I just had an
Let's hear
idea
it.
for a video. My first, what made me decide I wanted to be a movie maker was watching Clerks, the original 10-year DVD, the original Sundance version. I was like, man, that's
Yeah.
genius the way it ended. I want to make a movie like that. So I got a point and click camera that had a video function, and I started like practicing shooting frames and things like that. and the idea was I was going to be a pawn shop owner getting ready for a Guitar Hero tournament, but it wasn't going to be Guitar Hero. It was going to be like a Plastic Instrument Jamboree or something like that. And there was going to be a male hooker looking for drugs who popped in and out throughout various scenes. It was going to be very talky, and
So basically, you were going to be very derivative of Kevin Smith.
I was going to be blatantly ripping him off at most points, just with different words. And yeah,
That's fair enough.
but I was 22, and then some shit happened in my life that pushed me away from any of that frivolity and skylarking, lollygagging, things of that nature. And
What the hell is Sky?
now,
You know what? Doesn't matter. There's something important that happened recently we need to talk about.
does it involve a death?
It does.
Yeah.
Which I don't want our whole show to be about death because that's kind of where we. So far, it's been about drunks and dead people in
I got a
Sky.
drunk story also
But
after this, but let's give him a quick rest
important
in
note:
peace memorial and move on. What do you have to say
yeah,
about it?
Robin Williams. What the hell?
Hmm.
Mrs. Doubtfire. The genie. It's
Huh.
terrible. You know what's messed up
Yeah.
though? This girl I work with didn't know who he was.
Really?
How was that possible?
How old is she?
I don't know.
You
20,
don't know?
20,
20?
20, something like that.
Okay,
22.
well, what has he made in the last 5 years? Well, he did a show, right, with Sarah Michelle Gellar?
Did he?
Yeah, I think he did like this sitcom thing where they were
Really?
rich and did stuff. It was like a,
I don't know.
yeah.
I'm just like, how? Okay, how could you have had a childhood that didn't involve Miss Doubtfire?
Right. Well, no,
I feel like kids
I wouldn't
and
go that far because I thought Miss Doubtfire sucked, but I think I was
you
too
thought it sucked
young.
when you were a kid.
Yes, yes, that's why I thought it sucked. I never
You were a
watched it
very
a second time.
negative child.
No,
Then.
no, no, no. Let me explain. I was in kindergarten, and I came home from my
He's
half day at school.
Nabatuma.
Get to the chopper.
I'm
I
having this baby,
come with me if you want to live.
but if you're me, who am I?
I'm the governor of California. Anyway, I came home from kindergarten, and my mother was like, "I got a surprise for you." I was like, "What is it?" And she's like, "It's a movie." I was like, "What movie?" And I had no idea. She's like, "I'll give you one hint." And she did that thing where he's like putting out the fire on his tits. I was like, "Mrs. Doubtfire, oh my God, I want to see that movie. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God." And I ran around like a little, and then I watched it, and I was like, this is either too smart for me or kind of boring. And I just never went back and watched it.
Oh man, I don't know actually because I haven't watched it since I was a kid. I don't remember. I just remember like Williams was awesome in everything. Do you ever
Yeah.
watch his live on Broadway, his stand up?
Oh yeah, yeah. No,
Oh,
we were telling
brilliant.
jokes off of that the other night at work, last night at work. Do you remember that one he told? I'm gonna rip him off and tell a joke. Is that all right?
I think it's fine.
Yeah, it's the internet, isn't it? If you don't like it, fuck off. Uh, so he does like this. He's like, I got time for one more joke. There's this rabbi, and he's going to town on his wife, just giving her the hot and heavy. And he hears this sound, and he looks over, and his son's standing there. And by the time he gets up and goes to console his son over what just happened, kid runs off down the hallway, disappears. So by the time he finds him again, the son is on top of grandma, just fucking the shit out of her, giving her the dickin', riding her like a whore. So he yanks the child off and he's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Paraphrased. He's like, "How do you like it when it's your mother?" Funniest joke of all time.
That is pretty good. That is pretty good.
Yeah, I watched his stand up. I liked him. Thought he was
Oh
great.
yeah, yeah, it was good. It was different though. Like the first time I watched that, because I was used to, like, I mean, I knew he did like, I don't know, like in a more adult act, but I was so used to seeing him in like kid things, you know. It was kind of like the Bob Saget on, uh, shit, I can't think of the Half Baked thing. Just like, whoa, this guy,
I
craziness.
I understand, yeah. I read when I was younger, I found out he was one of the crudest comedians to be famous. Of course, I didn't know about Andrew Dice Clay at that time, but I was like, it didn't make
You know, they
sense.
actually arrested George Carlin once for swearing on stage.
Did they? I
Yeah.
believe it.
Yeah, that's where he like I guess came up with the whole bit about the 7 words you can't say or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Well, I bet that shocked people back in the day.
Oh, I would imagine it did.
Yeah, it's terrible. They say he was fighting with depression, which I kind of don't understand. I guess because I'm not depressed enough. Like I suffer, I suppose, from depression, though I'm not allowed to legally talk about it or yank my license to do my job, which is ignorant. But
You should probably shut the hell up then.
well, they'll have to get a. I passed my psych evaluation, so I'm okay. But they said he was fighting
I didn't.
depression.
That's why I write books.
Yeah? Did you have to take a actual psych test, an MMPI too?
No, I never do any of that.
Oh, I'd take that. It was
There's
nerve-wracking.
no prerequisites.
Mm. I had to actually go to a psychiatrist, and she administered this 600 question test. Took like 2 hours.
Oh my
Beforehand,
god.
she sat us down and she was like, "Okay, guys, I want you to answer honestly. So when it gets to the part where do you lie or have you ever stole, I know you lie and I know you've stole. Don't worry about those two questions. Just answer all the other questions honestly." And it was questions like, do you love your mother? Do you love your father? Do you think about your mother and father having intercourse?
Oh my
Do
god.
you dream about choking your mother to death? Things like that. And ridiculousness.
So speaking of mothers, my mom called me tonight and told me that I needed to stop eating wheat.
Oh yeah?
Need to straight give that up. And how I my first question was, is this a Dr. Oz thing? Because and she said sort of, but not really, which kind of I thought meant yes. But anyways, told me I needed to stop eating wheat because it was bad for me, and so I told her, well, let's see how it works for you, and maybe
Let's
I'll
see how.
consider it. And she said it's worked really good for me. You should give it serious thought. And I said I will right after I finish eating this bag of Cheez-Its.
Mm,
And that was, you know, more or less the end of the conversation.
nice. Your tangent interrupt my Robin Williams thought it was going to be funny too.
Wasn't it?
Well, no. No, I don't think anything about that situation's funny. I was just going to make the
Probably.
point that I don't understand how he can be so depressed that he can't afford Xanax or booze.
Yeah, I don't
Have you
know, man.
heard any other details on that? Currently, they're just saying he was apparently suicide by asphyxiation, and that's all
Yeah, I
I've
don't know. I
heard.
really haven't been following it, to be honest with you. I just kind of was like, oh, Robin Williams died. That sucks. I don't really need the details.
Yeah. The only thing I can deduce with my Sherlockian intellect is that it wasn't embarrassing and it probably wasn't an accidental suicide, because if it was either embarrassing or an actual accidental suicide, he would have been all over the news with details like poor David Carradine was.
So, since our show apparently is just about death at this point, here's a funny story for you involving death.
Ah,
Which, how I listen, I'm not this disturbed really, but this is pretty funny. So, 18 years old, my friend Jake and I, it's his birthday, and I probably shouldn't have said his name because now it's out there, but
you should have
whatever.
said
Probably
Jake,
never.
altered for television.
So, he wants to get a tattoo for his birthday, right? So I'm like, yeah, that's cool. I'll get another tattoo. I don't care. So we go to the tattoo parlor, and as we go to pull in, there is an RV blocking the drive, but I can clearly see the open sign on the tattoo shop. So I know it's open, but this old stupid ass RV is blocking the driveway. So naturally, I go over the curb and get to the parking lot. get inside, and the tattoo guy's like, "Hey man, I'm sorry about that RV. I don't know why that asshole parked there. My wife just went out and talked to him, and he just straight up ignored her." And she's like, "Yeah, he just went out there and he just ignored me." And the guy's like, "I'm about to go have words with this dude. So like
Words and sentences.
he goes out, right, and we're in there talking to his wife, telling her what we're wanting to do tattoo wise, and like a minute or so later he comes back in and he just has this like haunted look on his face, and he kind of looks at all of us and he's like, "That motherfucker's dead." We're like, "What? No, that's
Oh, is
not."
the wife like, did you kill him?
And and, and he's like, we better call the police. So like the police show up. And sure enough, this guy's dead in his RV with a bunch of dogs, which the dogs are alive, but just the guy's dead.
Hmm.
We get asked a bunch of questions and whatever. Police leave, we get our tattoos, move on with life. So, like, 2 or 3 years later, I see the tattoo artist on the river, and we start talking, and I was like, "Yeah, I was there the day that there was a dead guy in your parking lot." And he starts cracking up, and he's like, "Do you know what really happened?" And I was like, I don't know. Well, it turns out the guy was doing the self asphyxiation thing, and basically taking care of business in his RV, and he was using a zip tie around his throat, and apparently he got the zip tie too tight, and he couldn't get it off,
Oh,
and
hell.
so then he died in there, and then his dogs were stuck in there over the weekend because I guess the tattoo shop wasn't open on the weekend, and his dogs ate half of him.
I was going to ask that.
Yeah,
That's
that
ridiculous.
that did happen. That's a real story,
Ugh,
which I have not put in a book yet for some reason. I need to work on
too soon.
that.
Too soon.
Too soon. Too soon. 8 years ago.
Yeah. So how
So
many
okay,
tattoos do you have?
I have two.
Nice. I have five. None of them were ever done in a shop, though. They were all done in my living room.
Somehow that does not surprise me.
No, it was cheaper to buy a tattoo gun and make my first wife learn to do tattoos.
It's funny.
Hmm.
So Edward, I
Yeah.
saw this thing on the Facebooks today, and actually, I think you're the one who posted it, and I read it, and I just saw the headline, and I didn't have a chance to read it, but I figured you probably did. So, what is the nonsense about this Hideo Kojima and uh, Guillermo del Toro and Norman Reedus video game thing?
Well, essentially, Guillermo del Toro has teamed up with Hideo Kojima to make a video game starring Mr. Reedus.
This is supposed to be a Silent Hill, yeah?
Yeah, yeah, but it's called Silent Hills with a
So, is it any
pluralization.
actual relation to Silent Hill?
I haven't read. I think so.
Oh,
But
I
I haven't
figured you
read
would
much.
have read the
There's a teaser
whole.
out. No, I haven't had a chance. Well, I was capturing footage and I had to get busy and get frisky. So yeah, I just haven't had a chance to look it up very well, but I did watch the teaser and the teaser of it was pretty interesting. It's about death, yeah, and it's just him
Can we not
walking
like?
through.
Can we just not get away from that topic? Episode
Talk
one,
about
the
Tupac.
Grim Reaper. That's what we're calling it.
Well, you're writing all the
Or let's talk about pancakes now, and then it can
descriptions.
be death and pancakes.
Okay, well let me finish talking about Silent Hills.
All right.
So I guess it's legit. There's a teaser. You need to watch the teaser for it. Uh, BloodyDisgusting.com said that it's confirmed there is a video game being made by Hideo Kojima and Guillermo del Toro with that one guy in it. It's going to be on multi platforms, I would assume. Yeah,
Speaking of
that's
Hideo, how pissed are you that they're not using David Hayter as Solid Snake anymore?
fairly
Or
pissed.
Snake? Fairly?
Fairly,
Fairly?
fairly with an F.
Okay, with an F. Good.
Yes.
Good, right. It's the right answer.
Yeah.
Because nothing against Kiefer Sutherland, but
Yeah. Yeah. Kiefer
no.
Sutherland. Let's watch Mirrors. No.
I mean, here's the thing: like, they really couldn't do anyone because um, it's not David Hayter. And I'm kind of slow talking right now because I'm watching this teaser as I'm
Oh,
talking.
turn it down.
Too loud, you can hear it.
Yeah.
So, did you play that little snippet that I paid $30 for the new Metal Gear?
Yeah, I played it. I played it on a PS3 and PS4. Yeah.
So, that was cool. It was pretty cool. Gameplay was all right. Major problem though, like you said, Snake's voice not cool. That's dumb. And I was
Indeed.
really not happy that I paid $30 for that little gameplay. And I know it was supposed to be like an opener thing, but I figured, they'd at least, give me my money's worth.
Well, did you milk it dry with all the replayability they added?
No, I was too pissed off.
No. Well, that's probably a little of your problem.
Yeah, well,
I didn't
maybe.
finish it. I didn't finish it all the way through either. I rented it on both systems just to side by side the PS3 versus the PS4 because up until
What was the difference?
night and day.
Really? It was
Yeah.
that much better than the PS4?
Yeah, it really was. People will tell you that no, they're not that much of a difference. And for the longest time, I agreed with them. I was like, no, it's too soon. There's no need. There's several years left in the current previous gen systems. And then I side by side several games like Battlefield 4, uh, Metal Gear Solid, and most recently I downloaded the 360 beta for Destiny and the PS4 beta for Destiny, and I was
Oh
fucking wrong. I was so fucking wrong. If we could have gotten rid of the last gen a year earlier, it'd have been nice.
yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with the PS4.
Me too. It sold 10 million so far. Sold, not shipped. Sold.
Wow.
Yeah, and I
So,
think
I bought an Xbox as well, right?
I haven't bought the Xbox One yet, but I intend to before November.
Mine's mostly just a giant paperweight now. What's happening in November?
The Master Chief Collection and Halo 5.
Oh, oh, right on. Yeah, I'll probably buy that.
Mm, yeah.
I pretty much at this point was just like, yeah, I'm gonna keep my Xbox because there'll probably be some Xbox exclusive stuff I want to play.
Hmm.
But knowing what I know now, if I could go back, I probably would buy it again.
That's kind of how I felt about the PS4 once they announced the connectless Xbox One because I was always a PS fanboy, you know. I was never
Hmm.
big into Xbox until I bought the 360 and was like, "Oh my God, this is just a gamer's machine." Because I had
Yeah,
originally had the PS3.
yeah. The Xbox One, not so much.
Oh yeah.
They kind of got away from that. At least in my opinion, it seems like to me like the Xbox, like Microsoft was just like, okay, the gamers are gonna buy the damn thing, so we don't care about them. Let's just make it like a family fun wagon where everybody can have midgets and strippers and balloons, and the whole
If there's
family can have
midgets
fun.
and strippers and balloons, I'm so in.
Family fun, family fun day.
Mm.
No, I don't know. Like the whole thing with like literally from the moment I took it out of the box, it was just pissing me off.
Yeah, well, I
Because
think it's only sold 4 point some odd million, so it's falling behind the PlayStation considerably.
yeah, like okay, so there's a few things that are kind of like a little bit annoying with the PS4, like install times and stuff like that. 100 times worse on the Xbox.
Oh
Like
man.
if you're connected to the internet when you put a game in, it's gonna force you to download the updates for it. So it'll literally be like 45 minutes to an hour, hour and a half before you can even play the damn game.
Mm.
Unless you disconnect it from the network, drop the disk in, then it won't prompt for updates, and then it'll install so much of a percentage and it'll tell you you can play, and you can install the updates later.
See, that's jacked up. I hate updates.
Well, and half the time they
PS4,
fail and you have to start over.
that'd piss me off. The
At least on
PS4
mine.
doesn't bother me
That's
so
been
much.
my personal experience. Like basically, my personal experience with the Xbox One is if there's a game I want to play, chances are I can't play it because I have to download something for it. So I'll have to play something else for like 2 hours and go back and be like, oh, okay, now I can play.
I know what
Or
you
if
mean.
that failed, I guess we'll start over.
Well, that's a bummer. I still got to get one though. My wife is a very Xbox gamer. She had the original Xbox, and that's just what she likes. She never had PS.
NFL Street 2.
On the original Xbox?
Yes.
Yeah, I had that.
So much fun with that game.
hmm Yeah, my brother-in-law got it for Christmas one year, my ex-brother-in-law, and we played it a lot. You know what?
So
The one downside to the PS that I would change is, and I could probably buy a connector, but to use the Xbox controllers for the PS would be perfect because I love the Xbox controller for shooters and things like that.
I actually see that was something else. Like I like the PS4 controller more than the Xbox One controller.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, the like the 360 controller was about perfect, but I don't not like I don't know the Xbox One controller feels awkward. They like kind of shortened it a little bit, like it's a little smaller, and I don't know, like in the material it's made of, like it seems like slick. I
Hmm.
don't know, it's weird.
See, I haven't even touched an Xbox One, so I don't know.
Well, why don't you get off your lazy ass, quit being such an introvert, and come to Missouri, and you can play my Xbox One.
Let me catch a bus to Missouri
Uh huh.
to play your Xbox. Let me get right
Didn't you
on
do
that.
that once?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It took
Yeah, you did.
about eight
You
hours.
actually rode a bus to Missouri.
Yeah, I met a
You
pimp
know what?
who tried to
Want to know
solicit
something
me.
fascinating
Sure.
about that? Sorry to interrupt you, but that when you rode that bus, the day we picked you up, or not the day, like the next day, the next morning, I remember waking up, and that was the day we attacked Iraq.
No, no. I actually remember that because we had to stop the bus. It was the day I was on the bus headed for you. We officially went to war with Iraq.
Oh, the
So,
first shots were fired when you were at my house, maybe?
yeah, first shots were fired, but we announced we were going in
Oh,
because
okay.
they pulled the bus over and we all got searched. Because I guess in the Midwest, it's a national security risk if you're riding a bus in the middle of the Midwest. They pulled us out and searched our bags. It was like a several hour layover in
Hey,
Joplin.
look, buddy, policy's policy, okay?
Yeah,
Cavity searches for everyone.
no, I didn't go that far. They're probably like, look at this white kid with braids. He's up to no good.
Oh my god, I forgot about the braids. It's awesome.
Yeah. I
Oh,
wish my parents would have been like, you're, no, just no, and then slapped me, so I wouldn't have done that. But I'm sure they feel the same way about their style and fashion when they were kids.
so shit, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, Guardians of the Galaxy. Have you seen it yet?
No, not yet. I haven't been to a movie in a while, so what's it like? Is it good?
Oh my god. Well, it's you go in. I mean, you kind of overpay, and then you definitely overpay for drinks and popcorn and what have yous. And then you sit in a big dark room with a bunch of strangers and you watch a movie. And it
Yeah,
kind of
none of that
sounds
sounds
awkward,
good.
but usually the strangers won't bother you. It's okay to get out of the house every once in a while, Edward.
I do. I go to work. There's
Touche,
an
I
ICP
guess.
concert coming up. ICP hasn't been back to Oklahoma City since the stage got rushed in 2009. The barricades failed, and everyone rushed the stage, and you could see the stage buckling under all the weight. And they haven't been back since. So they're coming in October, and everyone's like, "Let's go to the ICP concert," and I'm like, "I don't do concerts anymore. I just don't. The last one I went to was Twisted's. Uh, it wasn't the Wicked tour, but it was the next year. I can't remember the name of it, but
You and I have very different taste in music.
you think so?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't
It's
listen to
like,
music anymore. I listen to Bone Thugs and Harmony, not much anymore, and Twisted, Dark Lotus. I don't really listen to all that anymore, but that's what I listened to for so long. It's all I really know. And then a bunch of classic rock.
I went to a Willie Nelson concert not long ago.
How was that?
It was pretty good. Jason
Yeah.
Isbell was there, and that's the main reason I went. Probably someone you've never heard of.
Nope.
I also
But
recently saw Unknown Hinson live in concert, which was awesome. Have you
heck yeah.
seen Squidbillies, the TV show Squidbillies?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so you know Early Kyler, the main squid?
Oh yeah.
Okay, the guy who does his voice is Unknown Hinson, and he is a country western singer.
That's
And
great.
that's how he talks and sings. Like you hear him singing, and you know what? You've got a laptop there. Look up Unknown Hinson right now. He actually looks
Uh,
like Early Kyler.
I know you're making the decisions here, but sure, let me look that up.
Yeah, well, it's happening. Let's fucking get to work.
All
I,
right,
I didn't think there was any question about the
yeah,
decision you're making.
will you wrench my butthole back into shape when you're done with it?
So this guy, you're gonna be blown away when you see what he looks like. It's awesome.
Oh, come on. What? Unknown Henson. Mutton chops. He looks like,
Dude, it's awesome. Did you
oh
see
man.
my
He
picture
looks
with
like
him?
Branson threw up on Garth Brooks.
Oh my god, dude, he does all like funny songs. He is freaking hilarious. So good live.
I'll have to listen to him later, but I don't really like people get the wrong impression that I'm some, wigger dick rapper dude, but I'm really not. I just like rap ish. I like poetry, I suppose, if I was going to be deep and, pretentious about it.
Aww, poetry.
Yeah, no, not really.
Alright, so here's the real question about your introvertness. When are you gonna suck it up and go to a convention with me? 'Cause I just came back from GlitchCon and it was awesome. And Friday afternoon, I'm leaving to head to Little Rock for the River City Comic Expo.
Okay, here's the thing. I can't go out of state for a convention because I am generally flat broke. I live paycheck to 4 days before paycheck usually. So
Uh-huh.
the only convention I could go to are the ones locally. And if I
I
plan
don't
for it.
know, like, is there any other ones locally? I know SoonerCon, which I had to miss this year. I was very bummed about that.
No, not really. We could start a Comic Con in Oklahoma because Comic Con's not like a brand name, it's just a generic term. They can't get a copyright for it. So you
Right?
could literally be Oklahoma Comic Con. Like
There's one coming, right?
in
Tulsa,
Oklahoma. Oh, yeah,
Tulsa, yeah, Tulsa
Tulsa.
Comic Con, Tulsa Comic Con, November. Wizards bringing it there. It's actually you should go to that
I should.
because yes, because both the brothers from the Boondock Saints will be there.
Oh
Uh,
boy.
Ernie from Ghostbusters.
Isn't one of the
Uh,
brothers from Boondock Saints also the guy that's going to be in that Silent Hills?
yeah, Norman Reedus.
Yeah.
Do you not watch Walking Dead?
I watched the first season, then after that I decided I like my zombies without drama. I
All
don't
right,
like
one of my
drama.
favorite things.
Like I will
Okay,
sit there and I
fine.
will watch horrible things. I will watch every slasher flick over and over again because there's no real drama
Dramaless.
to it. Uh,
Dramaless. My
it's
point is, there's gonna be
so
some cool people there, and you should go because I'm gonna try to go.
well. I'll see what I can do. I'm sure my brother would be down. We could carpool, but uh, people, man, they're some right bastards. I don't like people. It's hard to get out of the house. Uh, Yesterday I was standing in line at paying my insurance, and the guy in front of me is just going off about why is there a fee for me to use my credit card to pay my fucking insurance? There's never been a fee before. And the lady's like, sir, there's been a fee since we started accepting credit cards, and you've paid it several times because it's the same woman who works every day. It's just one lady that works there. You've been in here every month and you've paid it. Well, you never told me about it. Yeah, I have, sir. I don't know why you're freaking out. And I love it because it's a independently owned business. And she was like, yeah, there's nothing I can do about it. And he's like, well, you're going to take it off or I'm not going to pay my insurance. And she was like, that's fine. You don't have to pay your insurance, but we do report after 30 days of no insurance and you'll have your license revoked. Do you really want to deal with that? And he's like, well, if you take the $5 fee off, I will pay you right now. And she's like, I will be more than happy to take the fee off. Go to the ATM and withdraw cash because we don't charge a fee for cash. I was like, fucking thank you for standing up to this douchebag because the day before that, I was out paying a late fee on a video at the video rental place, and this guy in front of me is going off about a $2.19 late fee. He's like, late fee? I don't pay late fees. I won't do it, and you can't make me. This is America, and it's communism like that that is causing Al Qaeda to tear our country apart. Now you put on your little computer thingy. I'm not paying a late fee. I will not pay a late fee. I told you guys last time you tried to charge me a late fee that I am exempt from late fees. And the guy, you can tell that he's just like, okay, I'm going to get rid of this late fee to get this fucker out. So he's like, okay, I will take this late fee off, whatever. And he's like, well, all right. Now, I'm sorry to get hateful with you, son, but I don't pay for things I don't agree upon, and I don't pay for things I don't owe. And I wanted to be like, yeah, well, if you read terms and conditions, you clearly owe it, you dumb fucking bastard. So I just don't do people anymore.
That was the longest explanation of why someone doesn't leave the house.
Yeah, I
But
suppose.
if you hadn't left the house to see that, you wouldn't have had those funny stories to tell.
You're right, but my day would have went better. I got up to pay my late fee, and the guy was like, can I help you? And I was like, I'm here to pay a late fee. He's like, are you going to throw a fit too? I was like, if I throw a fit, will you take the late fee off? He's like, yes. If you throw a fit, I will take the late fee off. I was like,
You didn't
that's
throw a
fine.
fit, did you?
No, no, because I have this thing called shame, and I'm not.
Since when?
I'm like, here's my $3. I'm going home. I went to the gathering of the Juggalos in 2009. There was 22,000 people there, and I don't know how I survived.
It's funny. So, Ed, the last time we did a podcast, we talked about Final Fantasy and Realm Reborn quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I distinctly remember telling you, or I distinctly remember thinking I told you about at the time, my goal was to get my guy to become a paladin and get my choco bird.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so shortly thereafter, like maybe I don't know, within a week, got my guy turned into a paladin, got some sweet armor, and I got my choco bird, and then I just pretty much quit fucking playing.
Mm. Douchebag.
I got bored with it. I mean, they're still charging me, so I can, I guess I could play, but I got bored
I
with it.
I haven't played the actual game in a while, but what I do is roam around capturing footage, and you need to make a character on Leviathan so we can start making machinimas.
We would need to make a character on my world,
No, because I
my
have a
moon.
max level character on Leviathan, and I got
I
way more.
have a maxed character too.
Yeah, well, I had one
He's
first.
maxed at the level that he's at, which isn't the highest level.
Well, my clan has a hot tub.
I have a choco bird.
I have a Magitech armor.
I don't care.
Fuck off.
Is your choco bird named Mr. Kitty?
No, it's Cornelius J. Pupperdew.
See, mine's better, Mr. Kitty.
You know what the
And then
J
Mr.
stands
Cartman's
for?
cat.
I
I
thought
don't.
Mr. Kitty was named Fluffy.
No, Mr. Kitty, that's a bad Mr. Kitty. I had a snake named Mr. Kitty once.
Did you?
I did. It was a ball python.
Fuck that. Fuck
I had
that.
two of them actually. I had Mr. Kitty and Pennywise, and then I
Like
had
the
a kid
band or the
snake
clown?
named Jar Axle.
Well,
Yeah,
good.
Pennywise the clown.
Well, that's a lot better than the band. So congratulations. Uh, so I got my wife wanted to watch Raiders of the Lost Ark. She had never seen it before, so we watched it. She liked it, and have you've seen Raiders, of course, right?
It's been a while though. I gotta admit, I'm a little outdated on my Indiana Jones knowledge because it's been a while.
Well, me too. I'm just telling you that I watched it today, and it was nice. It was fun. Uh, yeah, she liked it. I don't
Good.
know.
That's good.
Yeah, I guess
I thought you were going someplace further with that.
I thought I was too, but the harsh realization is I had nothing prepared. I guess I was expecting you to have something that I could work off of, but you clearly let me down.
So, uh, I got something here that you'll enjoy.
What's
So,
that?
I don't think I told you this yet either. So, you were talking about wanting to play Fallout New Vegas a while back,
I've been
and
playing it the last couple days.
have you?
Yeah,
So, and I told you like you should just run through and play it and just beat it, without any help or anything for the first time. But then afterwards, that I had this awesome guide that would walk you through everything, right?
right.
Okay, so I was playing by that awesome guide, and probably like 65% done with the game, and I was like, okay, go to this area, talk to this person, and get this quest. I'm like, okay, I get did that, and it was like talk to this person, and then like I paged down, and that was it. And then it said, okay, this is the end. This was never meant to be a full guide, but you've done the majority of the stuff in the game now. So, best
Oh,
of luck.
wow. What a fuck you,
And at that point, like I've gone through like more than half of the areas on the map. It's not like I can just pick up another guy. Just gonna pick up where he left off.
Mm,
But I mean, it was okay because it set me up really nice. And I honestly, actually, I'm kind of getting bored at this point. I can barely play it when I have
yeah.
time to play because most of my time is spent writing Moonshine Wizard, not playing video games. In case anybody who's a Moonshine Wizard fan is listening.
Yeah, both of them. I just started.
Just with my
I
grandma. That's
skipped.
it.
I skipped New Vegas when it came out, and I bought it when it was on sale for like $5. So I've been playing it now that I'm into it again, and it's a lot of fun. It gives me time to think about stuff I could do for the Final Fantasy fan page, and
That's cool.
I wrote some stuff for your blog for the philipdryerduncan.com. I just haven't like I want to write better for your blog since you're Mr. Author, Stephen King Jr. over
You
there.
seen the crappy way I write? I write the way I talk on the blog. I leave the fancy writing for the pages, and actually my writing isn't that nice either until it gets edited several times.
Word.
So, but I don't even worry about it with the blog. I just kind of throw some stuff out there. I kind of thought it'd be fun. Uh, like I gave Ed access to the blog and another of my friends, and maybe a few more, just so people can kind of, I don't know, do whatever they want with it, and have fun with it. That's what it's there for, I guess. So,
Yeah, you're trying to leverage it into a community website, no,
I don't, I don't
like a
really put that much
competitor to
thought into it, to
Facebook.
be honest with you. I just
Uh,
thought, like, literally, this is how much thought I put into it. Like, I get on it and I see a bunch of crap that I wrote, and sometimes it's nice to even go back because I'll forget the crap I wrote and I'll look back through it and I'm like, hey, this is cool. But then I was thinking it would be kind of cool if like I saw some stuff from some of my friends just like as a surprise to me. Like I get on there, I'm like, oh hey, that's Ed wrote that. I mean it's crap, but Ed wrote it, so that's kind of cool.
Oh, okay. Well, I feel better knowing that you're okay with my crap. Like I had one about lucid dreaming and how it sucks to waste a lucid dream by lucid dreaming about taking a nap. Yeah. You
So
know
are
what
you
lucid
are you
dreaming is?
are you no, I have no clue. Are you nervous about posting it?
No, no, I haven't. I wrote it. I write everything on a piece of paper before I edit it into a word processor, and I just really haven't had time to sit down and put it
Okay.
into a word
I
processor.
was gonna say because if you're worried about it, you can always send it to me and I'll read it and whatever.
No, I don't need you to tell me that my shit's shit. Because you're gonna be like, I would go back and do this, and I would edit this, and I would be like, that's not doesn't sound right to my brain. So fuck you and the effort that
No,
you put into it.
no editing. I'll just wait till after you publish it and go back in and edit it.
Oh, that'll work, because I'll never read it again, and people will be like, wow, Ed, so he writes a lot like Philip. I think my dog just ate a cigar out of my ashtray behind me.
I think that did happen actually.
A damn dog.
So have you been reading anything?
Have I been reading anything? I have not particularly.
What's the last thing you read?
Last thing, do audiobooks count?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Okay, well, I burn through audiobooks. That's my preferred method. I wish you would put everything out on audiobook or let me make your audio files for them.
You want to do that?
No, no, that's a lot of work. It's a
Yeah,
pretty idea, and I like to think I would be able to do that, but in all
it's a
honesty, I
lot.
would probably let you down.
It's a lot.
So,
I mean, it's hours. I'm
have you?
working on a way to make that happen.
Well, good. Have you ever read Starship Troopers?
I have.
Man, that's such a good book.
You know
I
what's
listened
funny
to.
about that? There's actually I did a whole post about that on my website. You should look at that. It's kind of funny because when I was a kid, I watched the movie and I loved the movie because I was a kid.
Right.
And I found the book at a flea market for like 50 cents, and I read it and I was like, this sucks. This is the worst thing I've ever read. But now that I'm an adult, the book is actually really good, and the
Hmm.
movie is total trash.
The book is awesome. The movie
Yeah.
sucks, but the book is fucking. I listen to it bi-monthly just to listen to it because
Really,
my
you like it
shifts.
that much, huh?
Yeah, my shifts bi-monthly is every 2 months, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. My shifts are 12 hours with an hour drive time each way, so it's like 14 hours, and that's right the length of the book, so I can finish an audiobook in one night. Uh, then The Exorcist I listened to recently, and that was like another phenomenal book.
Can I make a recommendation?
You can, I didn't ask for one.
You should get the Dark Tower series by
Oh
Stephen
yeah, I
King.
got them all. I finished them.
Did you?
I finished them about a year ago, and it
Wow,
blew my fucking mind at the end.
amazing, right?
I should have stopped when he said, uh, "This is the end. You can stop here, or your curiosity can get the better of you, and you can continue." I should have stopped.
You know what made me mad about that is like I really wished he would have just stopped right there because I was
Yeah.
like, that's perfect, literally. But because you wrote it on paper and you're taunting it in front of me, like I have to read it.
I have them all on paper.
But it's still, I mean, it was still good though because he still like didn't really give you anything else. Like he kind of drew you in, and it was still kind of the same thing though.
Yeah, kinda. He was just sort of like, "You should have stopped. Now you're fucked."
Did you know that he wrote another one like a couple
Yeah,
years ago?
yeah. It was like something in the key,
Yeah, did
something
you
like
do
that.
that one too?
No, I haven't been able to find that one on torrent. I mean, I haven't bought it on Audible yet.
You're the reason we writers broke. Just kidding.
Oh,
You buy my
really?
book, so you
I'm the reason Stephen King has no money. It's not the drug habit he spent a life cultivating. It's not the
I'm pretty sure
horrible
Stephen
accident that he's
King
in.
is doing all right from a monetary standpoint. Something tells me it's
Okay.
probably okay.
No, I haven't read that yet. Does it continue the story or is it?
It kind
different.
of jumps in the mid. It comes in right after Wizards and Glass,
Yeah,
and but it's like it's a story within a story within a story. So like
like
it's Roland and the group, and they're traveling, and then Roland tells a story or starts telling a story about when he was younger and he had to hunt this monster thing down. And then, like, midway through him telling that story, it starts like a whole new story. Like, he starts telling a story within that story about some kid, and but it's really good. It's really good. It's weird, but it's really good.
I'll have to go pick that up. I bet they have it on Audible. I picked all the hardbound or the physical copies up at a
Mm-hmm.
thrift store for like 50 cents a piece. My
Nice.
sister-in-law's been going through them and she loves them. She's on Wizard and Glass right now, which was probably the longest, driest book I've ever read.
Really, you didn't like it,
Well, I was so wrapped up in the current story to
but it was
hear all
hard to
that.
jump back.
Yeah,
Dude, that's the last
'cause-
one. I actually did that one on audiobook too. Not long, like 3 months ago, I finished it probably.
yeah.
I need to get started on the next one, but yeah, I don't know. Like I like that one a lot. I kind of wish the only thing like he did that bothers me with that whole series is he talks so much about like John Farson,
Mm-hmm.
but like you never, there's no backstory FaceTime with him that I remember, right?
Yeah.
At
Yeah.
all. Like you kind of skip
Well,
the
the
whole
Crimson
war.
King also bothered me too. You know, you might go ahead and finish your thought because I got a thought to
No,
go on.
I'm listening at this point.
Okay. Through the entire story, the entire series, they're talking about the Crimson King and how he destroyed, what they love of the earth and blah, 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 and how he's the bad guy and whatnot. And I always pictured him as being like the Spider King or like the Spider Child was, just older. But when they finally got to the Dark Tower and described him, I pictured the Ice Wizard off of Adventure Time when I was listening to the story about him. It was kind of a letdown.
Okay, I can see that. I could see
Yeah.
that.
Like I was
So,
expecting I was
sorry, go ahead.
it's like, if you're expecting uh the alien from Alien and then you get ET, it's kind of a disappointment.
Okay, I got you. So I just finished Edge of Dark Water by Joe Lansdale, and I was told I needed to read Joe Lansdale. Well, actually, one of my publishers, I said I didn't know who that was, and she said she was going to slap me because I needed to read something he'd written immediately. So I got this book, Edge of Dark Water, and I started it. And in the introduction, there is a like this guy. I don't know. I think it's an author. He wrote this whole thing about like basically comparing him to Mark Twain. And I was like, wow, that's pretty bold. Like
Mm.
this guy is gonna have to be really good, and I'll be damned if he was not. Like, not like my favorite book ever, but um, probably the most well written book I've ever read. Like, he literally probably is the best writer I've ever read. Like, he doesn't like overdo anything or underdo it. His dialogue is perfect. Action sequences are perfect. Like, it's just like the guy's got a total mastery of the craft. It's crazy.
And what is that again? Who is he?
His name's Joe Lansdale,
All right.
and the book was called Edge of Dark Water. He's got another one I bought called Bad Chili that I hear is hilarious. I haven't had a chance to get into it yet.
So
The
you'd
other
give
one
it
I've read, do what?
you'd give it two Nerdbilly thumbs up.
Two Nerdbilly thumbs up. The other one that you should check out, see if you can get it on audio, since you like poetry so much, as we recently learned. Um,
That's
Blood
talk about.
Meridian. Blood Meridian by Cormac McCarthy.
Yeah, I hear good things about Cormac McCarthy.
Um, there was a lot I don't like about that book, but there was a
Yeah.
lot I really did, and it was one of those books that even though there was a lot I didn't like about it, I literally couldn't shut up about it for like a week after I finished it. It's
Mm.
pretty epic. and it's got a crazy ending. So I need more people I know to read it so that we can discuss the ending because it has one like the way it ends. There's literally like hundreds of theories, if not thousands of theories about what exactly happened at the end.
Hmm.
But it's got like an amazing cast in it. Like there's a character who's like on par with the Man in Black, you know. So maybe check that one out.
I will look into that.
But
I
hey,
like
you know I've got a new
open-ended
one out,
theories.
right?
Say it again.
I have a new one out.
What's that?
Prose Press just put out it's a short story, but they're running this line. They're calling the Prose single shots. So they're like short stories. They're ebooks. They're 99 cents. And mine's called Zev Moon. It's like a sci-fi werewolf thing. It's kind of
All
fun.
right. Nice.
Yeah.
Uh, we will link to that. People listening on the YouTube channel, we'll have links to all these books that we talk about.
Woohoo!
So I'll go pick that up, actually.
Yeah, for
Uh,
99 cents you can't go wrong, right?
right. Well, I picked up several of your books.
Yeah,
Moonshine
I can't
Wizard.
remember which all ones have you read at this point?
Well, the Moonshine Wizard.
Didn't you get Black Fedora? Didn't you read The Warden too?
Yeah, I bought it. I haven't read it yet.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You should so from what I hear, and I don't know if I should be saying this on a podcast, but I'm gonna. I wrote a Warden novel. So the anthology Black Fedora, my story in there is about a character called the Warden, and
Yeah.
it's basically like a superhero story,
Yeah.
except for it follows this character called the Warden, who basically um, he captures superheroes for fun and basically locks them up in a prison where he collects them, so to speak.
And you've already wrote this?
And yeah, so that's what's in Black Fedora. That's what the character is, you know. So I did this short story, and I was like, man, that's such a like I really had so much fun writing that. And I was like, man, that's a really great character. I'm almost tempted to go write a novel. Well, the that book, the character was really well received. Like I got a lot of really positive feedback. A lot of people were like, oh my god, I want to hear more about this Warden character, you know. So I ended up doing a novel about the Warden and sent it on to Prose Press, and very loose. It could change, but supposedly from what I'm hearing, October for the release date.
Hell
Or
yeah. I'll have to pick
maybe.
that one up when it comes out. You'll have to send me a link.
Oh yeah.
Uh, is it going to be distributed by you? Do you distribute any books that you sell? Do you like mail them off, or do other people take care of that?
For you,
Yeah, well, I mean, I would like to have you sign all of the books. That way they're
you
more
have them
valuable.
signed. Um, yeah, for you, I would definitely, I could definitely make that happen. But
Okay.
generally speaking, no, I don't distribute any of them myself. They
Well,
all, the publishers do that. So,
all right, all right. Well,
but
do
I
you have
mean, I
anything else
always,
you want to mention before we start to wind down?
um, yeah, yeah.
No?
But I mean, if somebody wants to get a signed copy of one of my books, usually I can find a way to work it out. Even if it means I have to take one, like even if it means I have to order one myself and then sign it and take it to the post office. I've done that. I've actually sent books to I've sent books to Germany and I've sent a book to Australia.
Mm,
I've sent I've shipped them all over. So
that's awesome, you globe-trotting bastard. I'm not going to make you do that. I'm going to buy them and then just save them up. That way, when you come down or I come
you
up
can
or
you
over.
can guilt trip me into coming to Oklahoma to sign your books for you.
Right, right. Well, I got a nice office you can crash in. It's got a chair and a computer. You can do some writing.
Right on.
Do you talk into a voice recorder like that old writer's trick, talking your thoughts?
No,
No, you
no,
don't do
I
that?
actually so when I finished the first Moonshine Wizard, I did the last like I did the last like probably 15 to 20,000 words in a day. like literally just crazy nonstop, and it literally like shredded my hands to pieces. Like I could hardly write. Like it just hurt to do anything keyboard wise.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would wake up in the middle of the night with like hand pains and like just all around. I couldn't hardly like grip anything. So there's an author named Kevin J. Anderson, a really popular author, really cool guy too, by the way. But he does all him and his wife both do all their writing through a voice recorder, and they have a transcriptionist, uh, type it out for them. And I tried to do that. I tried to get like I bought the Dragon software to try to do that, and it's just it couldn't do it. It's not for me.
Yeah,
It's
man.
a long way to answer your question.
Well, I appreciate long answers. Description's key. I try for like thoughts. I have all these thoughts for short videos I want to make for machinimas or videos I want to shoot, like short movies that I'd like to shoot. So I have a journal, a thought book, and I write them all down. But as soon as I write them down, I stop thinking about it altogether. Once it gets out of my brain, I never look at it again. So I don't know how to go back and take care of that. So I've tried to use a voice recorder to talk my ideas out, and I never listen to them again.
Yeah, I think that might be part of the problem with voice recording. I mean, like, well, I
Hmm.
try to even do the deal where like you talk into a voice recorder and then you drop it on the computer and then it transcribes it out. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, it came back as such trash.
I bet. No, I went to one of those websites that does that, converts text to audio,
Hmm.
and they don't have audiobooks for the Resident Evil novels, like the game novel by S.D. Perry, not the movie novels. But they
Hmm.
don't have those anywhere, so I tried to do that. It's just that they don't understand inflection when you're changing from quotation to not quotation, or when there's a comma, or when there's,
Well, like
semicolon.
Dragon will like learn the way you talk. Like the more you use it, it gets used to your voice or whatever. So
Yeah,
it may be if you're willing to put down the time to do. I just it didn't work for me for writing. Writing comes more naturally to me by typing, so I just didn't work.
gotcha. Well, that's understandable.
So this was it, number one.
Yep, number one. I'd like to stop us at about an hour and a half because no one likes to listen to more than an hour and a half of an episode.
Well, lots of good things to come. We're gonna have
Oh
some
yeah.
guests and
So are we,
different things. I've already talked to a few people. I'm gonna have I got some people who are willing to pod our cast with us.
well, that's awesome. I am glad that you talk to people because it's just going to be me on this end.
Yeah, no, I know how you roll, sir.
But I do want to get you on our Final Fantasy podcast to
I'd
talk,
love to do it.
chat. Heck yeah. But we we only do that once a month. We got another recording coming up, hopefully this week. It just takes so long to edit. It These things take massive amounts of time to edit. So yeah, that's another reason I'd like to keep it around an hour and a half.
Right.
But you gotta like James Bond and Indiana Jones has taught us all. You always want to leave them wanting more, drive them crazy.
Nice.
Hmm. Well, sir, it was a pleasure talking to you, and I hope
Always.
everyone listening has enjoyed it. I will have this edited within a couple days, and it will be on a YouTube for Nerdbilly, uh, their own private YouTube. You want me to set that up?
Sure.
I'll take care of that.
I'll get you the slideshow.
Hell yeah. Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And do you have anything you want to say to our listeners?
Thanks for listening. Buy my books.
That's deep. That is deep. You're
I'm
very
a sentimental
prolific.
guy.
Do you like poetry too?
No,
Oh, all
I'm
right.
not a poetry guy at all.
All right.
I,
Well, I'm gonna get off here. I'm gonna go play video games.
all right, I'm gonna go to bed.
All right. Well, enjoy bed, sir.
All right.
Take it easy.